Okay, find the perimeter. Perimeter means add the sides, or add all sides, I should say, of a polygon involving mixed numbers and fractions. So whenever I have mixed numbers and fractions, I actually divide the numbers up into whole parts and fractional parts. So here's what I mean. For this rectangle, 5/8, write that on the right hand side. 1 1/3, I'm going to write that here. Okay, now you have to go completely around the rectangle. So if the top is 5/8, so is the bottom. And if the right side is 1 1/3, so is the left. So you're just going to write those down again. Okay, let's deal with the fractional part first. We need a common denominator. So you take the two numbers that we have, 8 and 3, and go ahead and multiply them together. That's the fastest way to do that. So 8 times 3 is 24. So we're going to make a denominator of 24 for each of these. Okay, now you divide. 24 divided by 8 is 3. So that means you had to multiply by 3. So we're going to multiply by 3 on the top. 5 times 3 is 15. 24 divided by 3 is 8. So we're multiplying by 8. 1 times 8 is 8. 24 divided by 8 is 3. So multiply by 3. We already did that. 15 over 24, and we already did this one. It was 8 over 24. Now you keep your denominator of 24, and we are adding the numerators up. Adding all of those up. So 15 plus 8 plus 15 plus 8, that's 46. Okay, now I need to change this into a mixed number, but before I do that, I'm going to actually simplify it just because it makes my life a little bit easier. So I notice right away that they are even numbers. So whenever something's an even number on top and bottom, you just start cutting them in half. So half of 46 is 23, and half of 24 is 12. So we have 23 over 12. Okay, so now when I've done that, I want to make a mixed number out of this fraction. So I have, you keep the denominator the same. 12 goes into 23 one time, and since this is a 1 out front, to get the numerator, all you do is subtract these numbers. So 23 take away 12 is 11. Okay, so that's the fraction part of our answer. Now you've got to deal with the whole number part. 1 plus 1, if you add that, that's 2. But we already had a whole number over here. We had a 1. So go ahead and add those together. 1 plus 2 is 3. So my final answer is 3 and 11/12. So for the next one, if the top is 2 1/3, so is the bottom. If the right side is 3/4, so is the left. So I have 2 1/3. I have 3/4, another 2 1/3, and another 3/4. So to get my common denominator, I'm just going to multiply 3 times 4 is 12. You just multiply the denominators that you had originally. That's the fastest way to do that. Okay, 12 divided by 3 is 4, so we're multiplying by 4 here. So 1 times 4 is 4. 12 divided by 4 is 3, so multiply by 3. 3 times 3 is 9, and we already know that this is a 4 and this is a 9. So our denominator is 12. We add these together, we get 13, 26. Again, they're even, so let's just start cutting them in half. Half of 26 is 13. Half of 12 is 6. Okay. 6 goes into 13 2 times. You keep the denominator the same. Now let's figure out what that is. 6 times 2, when you multiply those, 6 times 2 is 12, but we had 13, so we had 1 extra. The extra goes up top. Now we do the whole number part. 2 plus 2 is 4. you add that to the fraction that you came up with, and it's 6 1/6 feet. I don't think I need to put my unit of measurement up with the last one. It is also feet. Okay. This final one is a quadrilateral, but it's done the same way. And they gave you all the sides on this one. So I have 3 3/10. I have 2 1/4. I have 1 7/20. And I just have a 1. Okay, so for my fraction parts, when you've got more than 2 numbers on the bottom in the denominator, you don't really want to multiply all that together because you get a really big number and you don't want to work with big numbers like that. So what you want to do is take the biggest number, 20, and you want to see if the other numbers go into it. So 20 divided by 10 is 2. That works. And 20 divided by 4 works. So that means my common denominator is going to be 20. So start dividing. 20 divided by 10 is 2. So I'm multiplying by 2. 3 times 2 is 6. 20 divided by 4 is 5. So multiply by 5. 1 times 5 is 5. And this already has a 20 on the bottom, so just write the 7 down. Okay, so we've got to keep our denominator the same and just add the numerators up. So this is 11 and 7 is 18. They're both even numbers, so start cutting them in half. Half of 18 is 9. Half of 20 is 10. Now this is not an improper fraction, so it's good to go. So that's 9/10 is going to be part of the fractional part of our answer. And then for the whole number, 3 plus 2 is 5, 6, 7. So 7 9/10 meters is the answer to that one.